everyone, it's Dave, the Nutritionist here with Pinnacle Fitness Center, and we got a special episode here today. We have Miss Radiance, Coach Radiance here, who just did a show. So we were at a SMBF show, right? SMBF show, and which is Supernatural Bodybuilding Federation. And so she did a bodybuilding show, and if you have not seen the pictures, you have to see them. So we may put some at the end of this video, but definitely head over to the website. We're so excited about this show. Now, tell me how you feel. How do you feel now that you've done the show?
Well, now I'm back to reality.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of just quickly adjusting, adapting, and focusing on just how far am I willing to reach these results that I'm looking for in this amount of time that I had to achieve it. So getting to that point, especially when the final week came, it came and went so fast.
Yes.
But definitely a thrill to experience for sure for my first time, and I'm very glad that I did it without giving up, because at first it was intimidating just because I've never stepped onto that scene before.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a well self-discovery of a journey for sure.
Well, I definitely love that. Now, tell me, had you ever thought that you would do anything like this?
Negative. I did not envision that in 2025, let alone my lifetime. I never knew about bodybuilding until I came to Pinnacle. David introduced me to it after seeing his pictures and just his journey with fitness overall. Him speaking to me more about it, and then when I first attended the show in April with his recent client Lisa,
yes,
I saw for myself, and then once I saw a category that was specifically for me,
exactly,
I was like, well, maybe there is a chance that I could do this. But like I said, it took a lot of determination, and as far as really locking in on what needed to be done to accomplish those that task at hand. So
it's interesting because, like she said, she saw the category that she could do, because she was like, I got thick thighs, and I'm these little girls, I'm not gonna be able. That's what she called them.
Yeah.
She said, I'm not gonna be able to compete with these little girls.
Exactly.
And I was like, they have different categories.
Yeah.
And so, there's a category called wellness that she actually did.
Correct.
With this show. So wellness, you have thicker thighs. So ladies, if you have thicker thighs, and you feel like you can get them muscular and still carve out your abs.
Correct.
That is the category that you want to be in. There's Bikini, which is more of a thinner frame, and leaner competitor, and then you have figure, which is more of a wider back competitor, and then you also a lot of times figure is a little bit taller too. Sometimes figure is a little taller, but you're definitely gonna get that more X frame with the wider back.
Correct.
And then your legs are definitely need to tie in and everything as well. So there's different categories for different people, and let me tell you this: women is the fastest growing part of bodybuilding. There are women doing this all over the world, and the women's categories are larger than the men's now. So if you're interested, we definitely I would say stay tuned, because we're going to talk a little bit more about it. I definitely want to get in more about your history, your background. Like you said, you didn't even think about this growing up. No. So how was your upbringing, as far as like, did you do any sports? How did you get into personal training, that sort of thing?
Yeah. So for one, growing up, I was always a thicker sized girl. I was never petite, so I already had the genetics of being like bigger in mass in my legs, upper body. Like I already was kind of pretty much overweight, let's just say that.
Wow.
So, and that was all growing up. So like I said, I never had that. When I finally did get into sports, it was during high school, and I played tennis and I did swimming for a short time. But tennis really kept me active, but I didn't continue that outside of high school. So pretty much I did not stay active, and I never worked out in a gym after high school. Like after high school, even during high school, we didn't have like a gym per se for tennis practices. It was just on a court, that's it. But it had me in shape. But like I said, since I didn't continue outside of school, I didn't have that. Now fast forward during when I was, an adult, going to college, things like that, still did not participate in no gym. It was just never my scene.
Really?
At all. I have not touched no weights until 2021 during COVID. Like right when the gym started opening back up. After it closed down, once it opened back up, I picked up my heaviest weight to being at 195. And I was
195. At 195, y'all.
I was 195 for at least a solid year and a half, 2 years. Don't know how long as far as that, but that's the window frame I can recall because of pictures that I seen. And when I went to go actually get a weigh in and saw that number in reality is when I was like, oh no, I cannot exceed this number nor touch 200. 195 was equivalent to 200 for me. Yeah. And at the time I was 21 turning 22. So just imagine just hitting your 20s, your prime, your legal age, and you're just figuring out yourself, becoming a young adult. And you're like, I'm already in this size of being unhealthy, not active, things like that. So it was a lot of deterioration from there, but it really what drove me to wanting to get into shape. So I pushed hard for the next 2 years. I dropped down to 185, hit a plateau because I still wasn't locked in with nutrition. And then once 23 came to 24, I went down to 175, and I pretty much stayed stagnant there. And then once I met David at the end of 2024, it changed everything. And that was like an answered prayer because I was like, I have to break this number. And once I met him, the first month of me working here, I had lost 10 pounds alone just by doing his nutritional plan. And once I started seeing more vascularity in my body, more just muscle definition, lean muscle mass coming in, I was like, well, I knew it had in my nutrition all this time, but just never knew how it worked for my body type and genetics. So long story short, like I said, he really helped me see how important my food was and what I was putting in, how frequent, everything, and especially the consistency. Like it's not always about variety, but it's about having consistency in that. So we'll talk about that later if we get into it, but I just want to let you know what that played a factor in my life. Then of course the working out, having a structured workout plan and tailored to that. And from there, he introduced me to a whole new scene. So it was like I was just learning how to work out, then putting in the food. Then he's like, you should do this. And it was like I just learned how to work out. And so now, but after all of that though, even before I started working at Pinnacle or working for Pinnacle, I had got certified because after me losing weight, I wanted to encourage other women of my size to get into a healthier lifestyle because it's doable. Like you don't have to be super petite to be healthy. You can still have the muscle mass and be healthy and in shape. You just have to know how to lower your body fat percentage, and that's very important. So learning that with David is what helped me get to this point now in my life.
That's wonderful. So I hear a lot of things in your story. I hear that you were once a large woman. A lot of women probably watching this video, women and men probably watching this video, may be in a state right now where they're not really where they want to be, and they don't know exactly how to get there. But one of the things she kept saying, she was like, you've seen something in me that I never seen in myself. Like she said, when she got here, she was 175. And, I'm looking at her and I'm like, man, she could do a show. After a while, a few months down the road, she got around some of the clients.
Yes.
She saw Autumn who had did a show. And then she saw that I was training another lady that was doing the show, and she was right there well, that was Lisa. And she was right there through that whole process, just watching me train. And I'm pretty sure you probably was thinking like, you know, it's a little bit technique difference here, a little bit technique difference there, but it really wasn't like that much more than what, you know, you guys were already doing.
Correct.
So it's the technique is very important, guys. So doing things where you keep your heart rate up. Like a lot of people, they stay in the gym for long periods of time, and they do like one set, they take the longest break and everything. But no, like we're hitting these sets and we're hitting it hard. And we're making sure that we get in as much as we can when we are in that time, so that we can go home and exhaust that muscle, okay? And then just putting the right nutrition in right behind it, okay? Because that's the thing. It's like a lot of people, they'll work out, but their nutrition is not on par. And it has to be specific. Right. And then your body will pick up on what you are doing. Because food is not just fuel, it's information. So your body is going to pick up on that information, on that data. It's like, okay, we're doing it this way. Right. And that's really tapping into different energy systems, which I'm a master of. You know, we did a lot of different energy systems during this show. So we started off in doing my particular like tier 2 omnivore plan, and then I got a little busy. She's like, I need to take my calories up. So she took her calories up, and I was like, I was supposed to tell you to take your calories up anyway, but it all worked out perfectly. She took her calories up, so she took her calories up, and she started working. She started gaining that muscle, and then we came back together about 3 months out, and then I said, okay, now we need to start tailoring down. So we went up, and then we start to tailor that nutrition down just slowly, little bit by little bit. And you know, I was like, okay, in these weeks, this is what you're gonna do. Your carbs are gonna be this, proteins, fats, and you just start to see her drop. Her waist started to come in, her muscles start to pop. I was like, all right, next week. She would even text me, hey, what am I doing this week? I'm finished with this week. Well, I'm doing the next week. And I'll just send it on to her. I already had it typed up, ready to go, all the way down to the show. Now, when I start to see certain things, I start to pull out different tools in my tool bag. I was like, we're gonna switch this. So like we actually came in to a couple of weeks before, and I was like, we were down at a certain level, and then I said, hey, for these next 4 days, 3 or 4 days, I want you to refeed, meaning that I took her calories back up. I was like, because I want you to hit it hard before the last week. And so we took her calories back up, and then we dropped them down drastically because I was like, I found this new type of keto that my friend David Jockers, he had on. So we took her calories down, where her carbs down to 30 carbs a day for 3 days. We dropped 3 pounds in those 3 days. We was at 148. In 3 days, we dropped from 148 to 145. And then we went back up in calories, and then we moderate. And then at the last little bit, we carb loaded on Friday. Carb loaded. We also did some water manipulation, dried her out. That's a whole nother thing. But we had to water load and then bring her water down while taking a diuretic, coming in there. But a lot of these people who do these things, they do it in such a way where it's dangerous, but I try to do it in a way where it's kind of linear progression coming down and not as extreme so the person's hormone levels won't get out of balance. So that's the thing. A lot of people don't really know how to do it, and so they crash people's hormone levels, and their hair start falling out, and their cycle gets just all off. And a lot of things happen because people do these extreme things. Now they work, but you don't have to do it that way. And all of the competitors that have went on stage with me, they'll say, okay, I did it, I felt good, and afterwards they didn't feel like, they were just so far gone that it was, they couldn't recover. Right. And so, like, if you feel like you've done this before, or you want to really bring your body down to a level in which you want to maintain a nice, fit figure, get with us, because we know how to do it. It's dangerous if you are doing these keto crashes and all of these things where you can really jack up your hormones. And there's some people that even have passed away because of their mineral imbalance, because our muscles and our heart runs off a sodium-potassium pump. And so if your sodium and potassium is not balanced, you can die. So you want to really get with an expert who knows these things. And I've been doing this since 2001, guys, 2001. So I've been doing this for a very, very long time. And we know what we're doing. And now she is a coach under us as far as not just fitness, but she is a nutrition coach. So for the ladies out there who are looking to slim up, we got one of the best in Atlanta right here. Slim up and trim up. You want to slim and trim. What would you say about those who are kind of on the fence, who are, looking to change their life, do that body transformation, but they're still on the fence?
Well, honestly, how we already have like goals in mind, and yes, you want to keep it realistic, but don't undersell yourself or underestimate what you can do. Yeah. And what it takes to get there. As long as you have like the discipline and the diligence to execute it, it's going to happen. And I don't want you to put a timeline on it, because you're going to kind of get frustrated when you don't see those results in that time, especially if you're not willing to do what it takes within that time, right? Yeah. Like, let's say you want to give yourself 3 to 6 months, whatever. Not saying it's not doable or realistic, but if you're talking about 15, 20 pounds, you're going to have to be very consistent and strategic in what you're doing within that time frame to say you want to lose X amount of pounds or fat loss in that time frame. Like, you have to be consistent, disciplined, and driven to make that happen. And so you have to be willing to listen, to get every help and advice, to adjust and to adapt to different things that your body's going to do along the way to see those results. But being on the fence is really about you wanting it as bad as you say you do. Like, you really have to make sure that you're going to do it, and you're not going to slack up on it. Like, you're not going to say, well, maybe I could do this here, maybe I could do that there. You're going to have, it's not always a linear progression up. So you already have to give your body time to adjust anyway. Yeah. But the more you give your body inconsistent behavior, it's not going to give you that progression that you want. So you have to be willing to make that sacrifice that you're looking for a short time. Yeah. It goes by faster than you think when you're consistent. Yeah. But the more inconsistent you are, the longer it's going to take, and the longer you're going to drag out what you're looking for. And sometimes may never get it because your body does not know how to adjust to those things. So you want to be consistent in that so that you don't plateau, you don't go stagnant. You want to make sure your body's continuously to adapt and burning and conserving. Not conserving, but more so just knowing how to transfer those energies and going through different thermogenesis, because your body has continuously burned off what you're putting in. So Consistency is the main thing I can say. Yeah, just being consistent, just overall staying determined in that. The longer you do put yourself in that situation and continuously making the conscious effort daily, don't always, you give yourself grace too, because we're human. So I understand definitely when we have setbacks or cravings, different things like that. But once you have that self-control and you learn how to master that, that's why it is called a balance. But like I said, you want to have that, like, it's the 80-20 rule. But when you are being really consistent and concise, it's going to be more of a 90-10 thing. Like, you're going to push towards that extra of perfection and like as little of error as possible. But again, you still give yourself grace because it is a journey at the end of the day. But I'm just letting you know, if you have goals for a certain timeline, be consistent in that timeline. But if you say, you know what, I want to give myself a little bit more so it can be sustainable, then definitely have that balance so it can stay enjoyable and for long term.
Yeah.
So just figure out what works best for you. But that's why we are here as coaches to help you with those goals and make that happen. So which ways for you, we're going to help you assess those goals in the best way possible. Okay.
Oh, that's really good stuff. Really good stuff. And like she said, if you're on the fence, everything that she just mentioned right there is going to help you achieve what you need to achieve. It's funny that you had said 80%, 90%. In our program, we have this percentage. It's 85%. And in our nutrition program, we track everything. I'm telling you, I don't know a nutrition program that is, as comprehensive as our program. It's really a great program and people see results. So, I mean, if you're looking for one, we'll talk more about that on another episode. I know we've given you a lot on this episode, but we'll talk more about just the nutrition piece and what you'll get on another episode. But what I want to do is just send a word of encouragement that, hey, we're all in this together. We're all on this journey together. You don't have to get on stage to actually, feel like you're doing something in your fitness level.
Exactly.
You can have your own just body transformation. And that's what we want. That's what we are. We are body transformation experts. So that's what you're looking for. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a link on this channel, on the YouTube channel, where you could just click and do a discovery session or a discovery call with me, a breakthrough call with me. We will, and then once we do that breakthrough call, we can see if we can get you in here for a discovery session, and then we can go from there. Okay. All right. So once again, this is Dave, the nutritionist from Pinnacle Fitness Center, and this is Radiance, Coach Radiance here, our body transformation expert. We're so excited once again to have you coming right off that show. And she did win, y'all. She won. She came in first place. And we're actually getting ready for another show. Oh, yeah. We're going to talk more about that on another episode. Until next time, guys, like, follow, and share. And we'll see you soon.